This adventure began back in 2007 when Terry Dunn and his committee were tasked with the responsibility of taking our destiny back and seeing if we couldn't find a place and a home for our new Jamboree and other things. Terry could have done no better than to pick Jack Furst to head up this project, and Jack surrounded himself with a wonderful committee called the Project Arrow Team and went on a great adventure of a site selection journey that has led us to this stage today. In the process, Jack selected and identified Isaac Manning, a world-class engineer and developer, but more importantly, a passionate volunteer in scouting in the Longhorn Council. And together they have led the journey to where we are today. And rather than I talk about this, let me introduce to you Jack Furst and Isaac Manning, who are going to tell you about this marvelous adventure, Project Arrow.
In February of 2009, we met with the group and indicated that we had, out of the site selection, come up with two sites, one in Virginia, one in West Virginia. As we walked through, in August of 2009, we concluded that we could throw the Jamboree, a summer camp, a high adventure base, and a leadership center on one property. That property would be West Virginia and therefore would be highly economic and the best investment for the Boy Scouts of America. This is the site. It's a 10,600 acre site. It's adjacent to the New River Gorge and the New River Gorge National Park, which is about 80,000 acres. With our site being adjacent, we'll be able to have our kids in and out of the park. So this enables us to basically acquire 10,600 acres, but get the use of close to 100,000 acres. We believe that when this site is fully developed, given its location, 10 hours away from 70% of our constituency, that this will become a high utilization site, and it's our hope and dream that will serve somewhere between 50 and 100,000 kids a summer.
When you go up to the top of Garden Ground Mountain, which is the ridge that runs basically a mile up here, and you begin to look at the topo maps and really kind of start digging into this site, where the flat land is where everything's been strip mined. The tops of the mountains have been removed, the coal's been extracted, and what's been left is this fabulous structure of flat highland trails and ridge tops where the coal has been extracted. So what the coal miners have done over the last 100 years is basically do all the rough grading work for us to make this site feasible. So everything that we're putting on this site, all of our road alignments, all of our road beds for the most part are going on old abandoned strip mine benches, and the structure of the site and the reutilization of what's been left through 100 years of industrial development is where we're putting things, and it's working out tremendously well for us. Our site is just outside of Mount Hope. One of the things that was really interesting about this is we looked for sites that had great freeway access. 64 that runs from Richmond west ties into 77 here. 77 takes you on out to Charleston, West Virginia, and from there you either go north to Pittsburgh or west to Cincinnati and on to Lexington, Kentucky. 77 south gets you to Charlotte, Atlanta, and down to I-40 and 81. So our connectedness here from major airports is critical. We're 3 hours away from Charlotte, 3 hours away from Pittsburgh, 3 hours away from Cincinnati, all coming into this site. One of the things that attracted us to this site, we were looking for land areas where we could leverage up. So our 10,600 acres becomes 90,000 plus acres because of the relationship with the Park Service. And the Park Service has been phenomenal to work with, and it's one of the reasons that we're here in West Virginia. One of the things we were looking for when we were going through the site selection process was a site that would give us things that we don't have in the system right now. In the New River Gorge National River, they have class 3, 4, and 5 whitewater. They have some of the world's greatest technical climbing on the endless wall here that climbers from all over the world come to climb. And working through the Park Service, we're currently working on a program where we can start doing, on their Through the Park Trail, have a 100-mile loop from our site going into the park that takes you from Hawks Nest all the way down to Hinton. So the availability on this site to do anything that you can imagine outdoors, from caving to climbing to whitewater rafting to mountain biking to just regular hiking and backpacking, this site affords us the luxury of having 100,000 acres at our disposal to be able to provide program on the East Coast similar to what we do in our 3 other national high adventure bases. From the view in the valley, what we're now going to do is take a cross section through the Leadership Center, across the lake to the arena. So from the ridge where the Leadership Center and administrative headquarters is, going down into the subcamp, we're basically getting into the lower bowl, into the flatter part of the site. We're coming across the lake, and our passages will be through a series of signature bridges and across dams, getting into the permanent arena area, which will seat about 6,000 to 8,000 people. In the lower bowl for the total arena of about 80,000 folks. And our action areas and Merit Badge Midway and all the traditional core areas will be all focused around the lake. In our Phase 1 Jamboree, our longest walking distance is 1.35 miles, a little over a mile and a quarter. And what we wanted to do was to get everybody on a similar elevation so that we don't have more than a couple of hundred feet of vertical between the campsites to the core. But because of the mining activities that occurred, we're basically able to follow the topo, use bridges and dams to get to the core so that the scouts can spend more time doing and less time walking.
We have a great piece of land, and now it is time to put program on top of that land. And the model that we want to use for this project is a corporate for-profit model. This is a capital investment that will serve us well for the next 100 years. It is going to pay huge dividends. We are going to be able to serve kids on this property for the next 100 years. They're going to come here once every 4 years for a jamboree. They're going to come here every year for a summer camp. They're going to come here every year for a high adventure experience. We're going to have a leadership center for excellence. We could put the museum here, and there's a myriad of other programs that we can throw on this property. We're only limited by our creativity and our own ingenuity. The key to this project is, from an operating perspective, once the capital investment has been made, is it will sustain itself economically in perpetuity. We're on the eve of our 100th anniversary. It is time for this generation of scouts to invest in our future. The West Virginia property enables us to obtain a property located where the heart of our customer, our constituents, live. This is an opportunity for the great outdoors to come to life with a program that's complementary to the existing program that we throw all across the country. We're going to be able to serve more kids on this site than any other property that we have in the system. This site's utilization will be off the charts with a jamboree, a summer camp, a high adventure, and a leadership center, and much, much more. This is time to act. Join the journey. It's going to be great.